Hello humans, welcome back to my channel. If you're new to my channel, we shape and polish soft gemstones, mostly opal, using a dremel. If that's something that interests you, please consider subscribing. I usually post weekly. Today we're going to be working on this piece of crystal Ethiopian opal, and it's got great flash all the way around. It's got those reds, blues, greens, really nice broad flash, and I'm excited to work on this one for you guys. It may not be the biggest stone, but it sure does pack a punch, and size doesn't always matter with opal. When we weigh it out, it weighs just about 4.53 carats. So there's definitely, we should be able to save at least a carat there, even if we're a little hasty. And when we shine a flashlight through it with Ethiopian opal, you can see right through it, and this piece is just a dream. Only a little bit of dirt on the outside of it. And if you guys want to see how this stone ends up getting shaped and polished and turned into a beautiful gem, please keep on watching. So moving on to the kind of idea that I had going on here for this stone, I want to make it a teardrop because it's just perfect to be a teardrop. I should be able to get a nice high dome out of it, and this side here has the most color, so I'm going to make that the face. Moving on to the shaping of the stone, all of the dirt on this one is around the outside of it. So I started by taking off all the dirt from the outside. I always start by taking off all the dirt just to, make sure that we kind of know what we'll be working with there. Some stones are going to be like perfectly clean, but that's pretty rare. And it's also good when you're in the flashlight stage to check for like little imperfections. It'll look like a little bubble in it, and that could mean that once it starts buzzing on the dremel or your lapidary setup, that it very well could crack, or it's more likely to crack, and it could also crack when it's drying out. But once I got all the dirt off of the outside and I kind of got the sort of shape that I wanted, I started rounding out the edges of the part that I want to be the face. Now, once all the dirt was gone, I was left with these really sharp edges on the face. And so I started by taking those down, but I was also moving back and forth across the stone to really create a nice dome. And it's also important when you're shaping to take a second and look at it and make sure that there's no like bumps coming out of it, and if there is, that's okay. That can be fixed. It's not a big deal. You can always go back and recut a stone, but it's a bit of a hassle if you have to, recut a stone, and it's always better to just check it and be safe. Every once in a blue moon with Ethiopian opal, when you give it a recut, it might not like it. It might start cracking. So if you're working on Ethiopian, definitely just check it out. And, if you're working with Australian, it should be no trouble at all. A bit of an advantage with choosing a teardrop shape over an ovular shape when working with a dremel is the dremel does give off a lot of vibrations, and especially here at the Nova Point stage, it can be pretty easy to drop an oval, especially if it has a very high dome, I've at least found in my experience. But when you are shaping a teardrop shape, you can kind of tuck the sharp portion of it underneath your nail a little bit when you're polishing the rest of it, and makes it really easy to go back and forth from the sides of it over the face and round out those edges really nicely. It's like with Ethiopian opal, a lot of times you give it a really flat back with really sharp corners on the back of it, and you can always tuck those underneath your nail as well. This stone just so happens to be a prime candidate for a teardrop shape, but I could have given it an ovular shape easily if I was willing to lose just a little bit more of a fraction of a carat. But I'm pretty pleased with the shape that it turned out to after the first shaping stage, and I'm sorry I didn't show you guys really what it looked like at that stage, but I just find it's a little bit underwhelming before you do all the Nova points, because it's not quite polished yet. It just kind of looks like a little piece of sea glass. If you guys do like me showing it at that stage, definitely let me know down in the comments. I have shown it at that stage in past videos. If you're new to my channel, you can go and look at past videos, and I have done that. And also, if you guys have any other tips on how I can make my videos better, I'm always all ears. You know, this channel is all about sharing our experiences with each other so that we can all learn how different gemstones work. And with opal, there's so many different kinds of opal. You know, you have your fossilized wood opal that you get in America and Indonesia. And then Brazilian opal is alien to me. I know very little about Brazilian opal, and we all know that Australian opal is just the best of the best, the cream of the crop, as they would say. The reason why I work with Ethiopian is because I'm a bit more of a beginner, but also I find it so interesting how the colors disappear and then they come back, and every stone is so different in how the color evaporates out of it. It's just so fascinating, and I really want to document that for you guys. But if I work on any other kind of opal, I'm 100% gonna film that for you. But this is what it looks like after the Nova Point stage, and you can see there's all sorts of scratches all over it. And don't worry, those will come out with the polish. When we weigh it, at this point, it's 1.62 carats, and I'm pretty darn happy about that. This is what it looks like when the flash came back, and you can see it's really beaming. It's like a little laser beam in there, just flashing you on the eyes. That side that I was just showing you, if there was any way for me to make that the face, you know, the color on that side was just magnificent. But I'm pretty darn happy with choosing the broadside that I did end up choosing as the face, because it's really nice. It's got this kind of cat eye-ish effect. Moving on to the polishing, I did not dop this stone. I could have dopped this stone. I was like, you know what, I had that bad experience with that stay-ish opal a bit ago, and I've just been a little squeamish. I'm sure I'll get back to it though. But when you are polishing your stones by hand, if you're using felt tips and polishing wax like I am, please be aware you're going to drop it a lot. And you should have a table or a sheet or something underneath to catch the opal. So what I do is I not only have my little table there, but I also have a sheet that I cover everything else in the room with sheets, so that if it flies out of my hands like a projectile, that it will get caught on the sheets and fall down on my hardwood floors, and I can hear it tapping, and then I know where it's fallen. And that's the reason why I don't wear earplugs when I'm working with opal, because I want to hear it hit the floor, and it makes it much easier for me to find it. Granted, sometimes it still takes me a bit to find it. Like in my last video where I shaped opal, I had this teeny tiny black opal and I dropped it and it took me 20 minutes, and it's just important to stay calm when these things happen. But this particular stone, I did not really have that issue. I was able to find it every time because of its really broad flash. I could just see it really well. It would light up with that electric yellow, and it was no trouble at all. Something else about shaping opal with a Dremel that you guys might have seen a little bit ago on my Silver Nova point is if you don't fasten it properly, your bit will move a lot. So I oftentimes readjust my bit like sometimes even more than 10 times, but definitely at least 5 times. And I check it to see if it's going to move, because while the silver Nova point did go inwards towards the Dremel, sometimes they can fly outwards, and it can hit you in the face. And while you might be wearing glasses, it could, I don't know, hit you in the cheek or the forehead and leave a scar, and nobody wants that. So just if you're gonna pick up Dremel work, be careful and make sure that your Dremel tip is very secure. I also have my Dremel clamped onto a shelf with a clamp clamping the Dremel, and 2 clamps clamping the clamp to the shelf. So it kind of holds my Dremel secure, so I don't have to hold it with my hand, but you would have to go out and buy clamps to do the same thing that I'm doing, so that's just something else to keep in mind about my method. But this is what the stone looks like when it's finished, and it's freaking beautiful. You couldn't really see that all those scratches came out, and when we weigh it out, the finished piece is 1.48 carats, so almost a carat and a half I was able to save out of this piece, and I am very happy about that. And the flash is just gorgeous. I really feel like it's got this full rainbow effect, and it has like that little piece that has little kind of honeycomb-ish dots running down it at certain angles, and it is just gorgeous. Perfectly crystal. Right here, I'm kind of trying to show off the side of the opal that has that awesome kind of honeycomb-ish pattern going on, and you can really see all the colors going on that one side there. You got the teal and the red and just every color you could ever dream of. You know, I really couldn't be happier with this stone. I feel like I was able to save a large portion of it, and the colors are just off the charts beautiful. And it really just has that kind of flash that'll just smack you from across the room. It's so beautiful, and if I can get red, green, and yellow all in the same stone, man, that just makes me so happy. And I hope that seeing this stone come to life has made you guys even a fraction of as happy as it has made me to create it. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please subscribe. If you have anything to say, I really love it when you guys comment. We all love to learn from each other here. Smash that like button if you haven't liked it already. And if you have a friend to share this with, I'd love it if you would share this with that friend. I'll see you guys next time I make a video. Later.